The undefeated Kansas City Chiefs will not enter Buffalo this weekend as the favorites. Patrick Mahomes is 11-3 straight up when playing as the underdog, which Kansas City will be coming this Sunday against the Bills by 2 points. So can the reigning Super Bowl champs remain perfect through Week 11? Of course, with a new injury and a new kicker on their team. We break it all down now. What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Happy Friday. I'm Hayley Lewis, and this is Chiefs News Daily. Patrick Mahomes' .786% winning percentage as an underdog is almost as good as his career .798 winning percentage as a favorite. The Chiefs are going to head to Orchard Park as the underdogs for the second time this season. We check in with the team one last time to discuss all things Chiefs versus Bills right now. But first, give us a like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel, and let's get into it. All right, we got a few updates to bring you off the top. Yesterday, we shared the breaking news that Harrison Butker would be moved to the IR and undergo knee surgery. Today, those reports were confirmed by the team. The Chiefs tweeted out, quote, "We have signed kicker Spencer Schrader to the active roster from the New York Jets practice squad, and we have placed Harrison Butker on the reserve/injured." Now, the NFL Network's Ian Rappaport retweeted Butker saying, quote, "Headed to the IR after successful meniscus trim." The three-time Super Bowl champ tweet that Rappaport was reposting says, "Surgery went well. Thank you for all of the prayers." Now, the earliest the kicker can return is in Week 15 versus Cleveland. So Schrader will travel with the Chiefs to Buffalo this weekend. Chiefs reporter Matt McMullen shares that the new Chiefs kicker, Spencer Schrader, is 2 for 2 on field goal attempts and 3 for 3 on extra point tries this season in 2 games with the Jets. He made a 25-yarder and 45-yarder last week. He also was 2 for 2 in the preseason, which included a 56-yarder. All right, with those headlines out of the way, it is like usual on Friday. Head coach Andy Reid speaking with the local media for all about 2 minutes. It's a fast Friday, and I'm sure reporters had a lot of questions asked Big Red about Harrison Butker's injury. So let's get right to it. Here's Coach Reid.
As far as the injuries go, Butker's the main one there. He did this in practice, tried it on Thursday and tried to warm up and get going, and then wasn't able to do it. Then we took care of that. Then it was confirmed what it was, and so he ended up having surgery this morning. So surgery was successful. We'll see how it all goes time-wise. I mean, I can't tell you time-wise, but and within that, we brought in Spencer Schrader to come in and do the kicking. He's a young guy, so his resume isn't long, but the ones he's had, he's done a nice job with, and Beach felt comfortable with that, along with Dave Tobe. So we invite him in, and he can do the kicking going forward here until Butt is able to return. So with that, time's yours.
It's a meniscus, was that right?
Yeah.
You said you don't have a timetable here, but you are expecting him back at some point?
Yeah.
What do you guys like about the new guy?
Yeah, he's got a very strong leg, and he's done well. He ended up, they used him, obviously, elevated him at the Jets. So they had a couple kickers there, and obviously they favored him.
Any particular challenges for a young guy coming in late in the week to do this job?
I don't think as much of that as just being a young guy in this situation. I mean, but the kid's traveled around the world here a little bit, playing soccer, and has a strong leg, and he kicked at Notre Dame last year, so it's not the first big crowd he'll be in front of, so I think he'll be all right.
Andy, can you describe just the confidence that you've had in Harrison, how that's maybe affected, particularly like late game scenarios, the Bengals, you kind of know that.
Yeah, listen, I mean, he's done phenomenal. He's a great kicker. I mean, arguably going to be a Hall of Fame kicker going forward. And so, no, it's great. But again, we welcome this kid in and give him a shot. So,
Coach, is it still the same as it was committing you in Pacheco another week, and
yes.
Optimism for Juju?
Yeah, and both those guys I thought did a nice job with this week. They were working on a scout team and moved around well. So they'll be listed as out. And then Juju's had a good week. So as our other guys have in preparation against a good football team.
You've had quite a few guys get hurt. You have to deal with that all the time. You always just kind of focus down and just don't worry about that stuff. Does it feel like this is more than normal? I mean, now you got Are your best players kind of getting hurt in practice? I mean, how do you just deal with that as an organization?
As a coach, you go forward. I mean, that's what you do. And so you don't sit there and let that stall you. You move forward and you stay optimistic with it. So in this case, I don't really know the kid, but I look forward to seeing him do his thing. And he's supposed to be a pretty good player.
Coach, you mentioned not really knowing him. Does that change? Does that change things for you in game?
No. We're gonna let him kick.
All right, let's take one last look at the injury report coming out on Friday after practice. Game day designations you can see for the Chiefs and Bills are listed to the far right. No shock here as far as Isaiah Pacheco and Charles Omenihu go. Reid shared Wednesday it was unlikely either would play on Sunday. As for Juju Smith-Schuster, this will be his first game back since Week 7 against the 49ers. And of course, Butker is listed as out. The kicker will be moved off of this list and over to the IR. For the Bills, it's a tough blow on offense. Tight end Dalton Kincaid has a knee injury. He's been ruled out. Right tackle Spencer Brown, ankle injury, and wide receiver Amari Cooper with a wrist injury are questionable. All right, the Chiefs have arguably one of their toughest tests ahead. It is Bills week, Kansas City with a road game against Buffalo this Sunday afternoon. So to talk all things Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and greatness, we are going to welcome to the show John Costco, an NFL analyst for PFF, to discuss the significance of this AFC showdown. Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes, the two best quarterbacks, in my opinion. I'll ask you, John, you're the expert here in the league going at it. What is this game going to bring us out of these two quarterbacks?
It's probably going to bring the best. And I would say that these two quarterbacks haven't played their best all season long compared to what we've seen over, the past, since they basically entered the league. Josh Allen has, been touted as an MVP type of prospect this year, mainly because the team is doing extremely well. They're obviously leading their division, and his touchdown interception ratio is much better. He only has just 4 interceptions this year. Though from a turnover worthy standpoint, like how we chart it, he's not playing as well as the numbers suggest. So I think though this matchup is going to bring out the best in Josh Allen. We've seen that time and time again with these two teams, and then it's going to do the same with Mahomes. The offense hasn't been clicking on all cylinders all year long. I think it's just going to bring out the best in both of them, and whoever comes out on top is probably going to have a real good shot at winning an MVP type of, at the end of the season, depending on what happens with Lamar Jackson.
Now, you mentioned some of those numbers, and that's what a lot of fans are bringing up this season, is that the stats aren't showing greatness. The stats aren't MVP caliber. And I'm talking more about Patrick Mahomes than Josh Allen in this question, I guess. But what Mahomes is able to do, in my opinion, is continue to lead a team to find a way to win. If one unit's down, the other unit steps up. We see it with special teams. We see it with defense. We see it with offense. In your opinion, is that where true greatness really comes from rather than the statistics? Now, I know I'm not trying to take your job away because statistics is a very important aspect of it, but does elite football maybe elude the statistics at times?
It definitely does. You look at players that will have really good statistics, but maybe it's not that individual player doing all of it, right? Sometimes you'll see players, like I'll take Baker Mayfield as an example this year. He's not grading very well in our system, but he's, top 5 in multiple touchdown, statistic, yards, statistic and stuff like that. So, for Mahomes, he's not grading really well, and the kind of stats are kind of backing that up. From a grading standpoint, like he's still fine. Like it's a 77.6 grade, for a passer. But it's a far cry from what we're expecting of Mahomes, where he's usually in the 90s and he's grading at this elite level. But the thing is like, at any given moment, he can turn it on and have that magic that we all know that he has, right? And he leads his team to victory when it matters most, and he plays best when it matters most. Maybe it's a struggle to get to that point and for wins for them, but I think for him, when the game's on the line, he delivers, and that's really kind of what matters in the end. Is that you're leading your team to victories, and the defense is you have to credit the defense as well to kind of keep them in it when maybe the offense isn't clicking on all cylinders. And there's multiple reasons why it hasn't happened. It's not all on Mahomes this year, but I think. For him, he definitely hasn't been on a per throw basis, hasn't been as good as what we are accustomed to seeing from the past several years that we've seen him coming in the league.
Alrighty, folks, that does it for another episode of Chiefs News Daily. As always, we'll be back again after the weekend. In the meantime, like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel. Have a great rest of your Friday. We'll see you back here on Monday.